Hello, and welcome in to another live stream.
Hopefully live.
Hello.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
We have it open in another browser. Lol.
That was so funny.
Again, if
The
we
jingle-
don't have some kind
The
of...
jingle played 3 times. My apology. But hello and welcome to another Purl Perspectives live stream. I'm Anahí.
I'm Allie.
And I'm Carine.
And we are 3 real-life friends who sit together, craft together, and talk about our very many perspectives.
On literally everything.
On literally everything.
Yeah.
And today is a really special day because we have 2 big things to wrap up. Number 1, we are finishing our Mitt-along. We got so many. Where's my other mitt? Here's my other mitt. We got mittens. Last time we were live, we decided to cast on a whim.
Very much on a whim.
Very much on a whim. A pair of mittens for ourselves, and here we are.
Yay.
And these 2 overachievers finished them within 2 weeks.
Okay, but to be fair, you and I have probably achieved the same amount because I don't have the tops of the gloves nor thumb tips.
That's true.
So we've
And I'm still missing the thumb for my other mitten. But let's do a little bit of extended arm close up.
I think for me it's the other side that's like what to look for.
I am so pleased with this.
I know, me too. It's funny because before we decided to do the mid-along, very serendipitously, I had thought to myself, oh, I really need to make myself a pair of fingerless mitts because I have so many mittens at home, but I hate taking them all the way off to answer my phone if it's ringing and then trying to juggle everything and then put my mitten back on because it's cold. So this is perfect.
I love it.
But my next...
Hi, Lexi. Thanks for coming in.
Hi.
I think my next thing is gonna do this, but with the
flap.
the flap on top, where you get this part and then you
Yeah.
can flap it up.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I've seen.
My fingertips were a bit cold this morning walking
I've
around.
seen the person from Drowning in Yarn. I forget what his name is, but he made a hack for doing the flap on any mitten pattern.
Okay.
And he made a great tutorial video on it. I'll send it to you later.
Yes.
And we'll put it in the link below.
And we'll
Yes.
put the link below because I found it really helpful. I think he was originally using the easiest mitt in the world pattern from, I think it's Tin Can Knits, if I'm not mistaken.
The World's Simplest Mitten is by Tin Can Knits.
Yeah, the
Okay.
World's Simplest Mitten by Tin Can Knits. And then what he did is just worked up all the way up to the middle knuckles. And that's where his hack began, right?
Okay.
Right, where he just did
picking up and
bound off half the stitches, knit across, cast on the same amount of stitches type thing, and then just kept going. Or...
Yeah, but then he picked up again on the inside to do a little ribbing.
You know what would actually be so smart, and maybe this is the hack, but you do, just like you would do an afterthought heel, you do an afterthought, half the amount of stitches on waist yarn, and then you slide your needle back, and then you keep knitting
That's really
across
smart,
the waist yarn, and then when you're done the top of your mitten, you go
pick
back,
up.
you pick up the stitches on both sides of the waist yarn, you pull it out, and then you just do a tiny little bit of ribbing around the circle, like an afterthought heel, and then boom.
And then you
Now
go.
I kind of want to try to do that.
I think that would work really well.
I think
Yeah.
that would work really well.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, why don't we each talk about what mittens we
Yeah!
made?
But also, the second thing that's really exciting today is that we're going to do a giveaway for the first time!
Yeah!
Yay!
Only took us 11 months.
Yeah!
And 117 followers.
Yes, but we'll tell you about that in a minute. But yeah, we're so excited to finally have something to share with the rest of you who are watching from home. So I'm so excited.
We get to share our joy in a tangible
That's
way,
right.
other than just the YouTube videos. It's really awesome.
Pretty much.
So, do you want to go first? Tell us about your mitts.
Okay, so I decided to do fingerless mitts because, as I said, I like to be able to use my fingers without having to take my mitts off to touch the phone screen and stuff. So I just went on to... I knew what yarn I wanted to use. I will stand up and show the camera. So as you can see, it's a fingering weight held with a mohair. I had a gray mohair and like a bluey gray yarn. Actually left over from a top I made my sister last year, I think.
Oh, I remember that. You made her the moon crush, right?
Yeah, so all the details obviously will be in my Ravelry page, which is listed below. These are called the Fingerless Mittens, and they are by somebody on Ravelry named Iris H. It's a free pattern. You just have to click over to their blog. And I went ahead and I just followed it exactly to pattern. The only thing I did different was that I was too lazy to do the Italian tubular bind off. So I just did a regular bind off. But I ended up having to redo it on one of them because I had made it just a bit too loose. So I took it off and then redid it a lot tighter. And then that was good because then it meant that like it wasn't gaping so much. Like now it actually fits my fingers, and if I stretch them out, like I can't actually stretch my fingers all the way out.
Yeah, that's really
Weird thing to think about and notice, but that was just a thing I noticed. Anyway, I love them. I would definitely make this pattern again. I think in the future what I would do is I would shorten the thumb gusset, and then maybe make, so like I would do the medium for this part and then the small for this part.
So that it fits tighter around your fingers?
Yeah, because I don't want to say I have narrow hands, but I guess my hand shape is just a bit different from the pattern designers. So I would just hack the two sizes together in the future for myself.
I feel like what I would like is to extend the ribbing part a little more.
Yeah, you totally could. She just has you do, because it's a free pattern, I don't think it's a problem to talk about. The designer just has you do one round of ribbing and then the bind off. In pattern.
Okay.
You bind off in pattern. And same thing with the thumb as
so
well.
I think maybe that's just to prevent it from rolling back on itself, right?
Exactly. Because at the bottom it's not. It's just the cast on, and as you can see,
like
it's
the roll up edge though.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I would say, and that maybe this is me because I'm a tighter knitter, I would actually go up a needle size when I go to do the thumb. Because if you look, you can see that my gauge is different from the thumb to the body on the same size needle because it's such a small circumference. So I was really kind of holding them tightly. But anyway, it's a free pattern. It's on Ravelry. I will link the blog, the blog post below, and not Ravelry for anybody that it's not accessible to.
Also, if you've ever seen, like, who hasn't really, but if you guys have seen Home Alone, this is giving what is it called? The two guys that are like
the rubbers.
The rubbers?
Yeah. The wet burglars? No, they were trying to come up with this name.
I can't remember. I haven't seen that movie in like 20 years.
One of them, or both of them actually, wear this kind of mitten, and the color's actually reminding me.
Oh, is it?
Of them, so.
I just went stash diving. I think this took like maybe 40-ish grams of yarn.
Yeah.
Again, it'll all be on my Ravelry page, but it really was a good stash buster.
Yeah. It sounds really pleasant too. Here.
I don't know if you could hear it, but we
I
could.
could. Yeah,
I could hear it.
That's
I
the
love it.
mohair
Very
rubbing.
nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Those are my mitts. I am very pleased with how they turned out, and I'm excited to get to wear them in this cold Ontario winter we are experiencing.
Do you think you're gonna get like liner gloves?
I don't know.
You don't know?
We'll see. I'll wear them out and about for a week or two and then determine if I will. Maybe in January, because it does get colder here, end of January or early February.
Yeah.
I might invest in a pair to go underneath, or I might just switch over to my full mittens at that point.
Sure.
That's fair.
Our winter is so variable. Not variable, that's not the right word. It's so long, and it starts at like a comfortable like -7, -10 degrees Celsius, which is like,
well, it is.
Honestly,
like compared to what it could be.
But then at the end of January, early February, we're like regularly hitting like -30, -35 Celsius, plus wind chill. So we're hitting -40. So like our winter is long. It's just really long.
But it's not.
It's just long.
It's long, but like you said, it's like you have that like
initial like
median of like minus. I want to say -10, and all of a sudden you'll get like these -30 whatever or 40, and then go up again. And
there is something distinctly Canadian about having multiple winter coats.
Yes.
that suit different bands of temperature.
Yeah, it's
right.
true.
You have the fall one. You have the beginning of winter one. You have the everyday winter one. You have the -50 one that you only wear like once in the winter, and then you might have the more.
I'm refusing to believe that winter is still here.
Yes, and then you might also have like the more like elegant version of the winter
going
coat
out,
for like going out, and then
coat.
you'll have like the spring coat.
Do you have a going out coat and an everyday coat? Because I certainly do have a fancy coat.
Yes.
And I feel extra special when I have a fancy coat on.
Agreed.
Lexi is talking about UK winters and how like 5 degrees is like the beginning of winter over there. I have to say, living in Wales for 2 years was so funny to me when we'd get to winter, because the first year I moved there, I brought my big winter coat because it was winter. I had to be prepared. I didn't wear it I brought it home at Christmas and I left it in Ottawa, and my mom was like, it's only like, you still need this jacket. I was like, I don't think it
I don't think you understand.
I do not think it got below -5 in Cardiff that year for over the winter. And it was so funny to me that there were days where we'd have like 2 centimeters of snow, and everything would be shut down and closed. And I get it, it's because infrastructure is different, because it's not a common phenomenon that you get snow in Cardiff, but it was just... And then one of my classmates was from Alberta, and one of my classmates was from Iceland, and the three of us just banded together over this, like, these babies don't know how to handle... They think they're calling this winter? Like, it was
sweet summer child.
Truly, truly. But then you get a heat wave in Cardiff, and they're like, what do we do? It was so good. I love that city. I'd move back to Cardiff in a heartbeat. But it's just really funny when you come from a place that experiences extremes.
Yeah.
To then be in a place where the extreme is so not extreme.
Yeah, their version of the extreme is like, well, it's like, so someone I know lived the opposite. So someone I know who came from Japan to study English in Canada, came to Montreal, and then Montreal has, for anybody who doesn't really know the city, the downtown area has this very intricate underground subway system that also connects a lot of stations in this massive like
network of tunnels.
Network of tunnels.
It's the city below the city, really.
Yeah, pretty much. And like just malls, right? So it's like 3-4 malls that are in different stations, but they're all connected together.
It's really great.
So you can literally just live, and that's what this person did. So this person spent all of winter inside those tunnels because she could not handle the cold.
Honestly,
so she literally just lived in those 4 malls, and I'm like, I can see why.
But there's everything you could possibly want. There's food.
Yes, there's everything.
There's
it's
restaurants,
a city. It's a city under
shopping.
a city.
There's access to like bigger buildings.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the thing is, she lived in Montreal for a few years, maybe 3 or 4, and then when she went back to Japan, she was in Tokyo, and Tokyo experience is pretty much the same as England, where it's like -5, -10 is like the most you're gonna get, and even then. And it was the same thing where she was so used to the winter now that when she got there, she's like, oh, this is nothing. And people were wearing these like massive coats, and she's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. This is mild.
Yeah, exactly.
Hilarious.
It was nice. It was fun.
Go on.
To answer your question, Lexi, yes, our summer is a hot summer. In Ottawa, we can have anywhere between an 80-degree swing between the coldest part of winter, where it can hit -35, -40 degrees Celsius, and in the summer where we can, I think this past summer we hit -42, or sorry, not -42. This past summer we hit plus 42 degrees Celsius several days in a row when you include the humidex.
Because that's the thing. So Ottawa...
That's common. An 80-degree temperature swing over the course of a year is common in where we are in Ottawa, because we have weather coming off the east coast of North America, and we have what's called the lake effect, which brings a lot of hot air and complicated weather systems up over the Great Lakes. And so we get crazy high humidity, we get crazy snow.
Yeah.
It is a lot of weather to deal with, but I would like to think that we're built a little tough here as a result. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like we are.
Yeah, maybe.
Or at least you learn how to be tough, weather tough.
Well, but like it's like it's kind of funny because I feel like your body, or specifically your blood, tends to like forget about the winter, because like over the course of the summer your blood thins a little bit, right? Yeah. And then over the course of the winter it thickens. So, and that's why, for example, in the fall...
I tuned in summer.
In the fall, you'll get cold faster, even though these are relatively, like, the same temperature as you'd get in the spring. But in the spring, that -5 hits very differently. Yeah. So, -5 in the spring, you're like, this is nothing. Because you have thicker blood, you feel like you're used to it, you're like, this is nothing. But in the fall, it's like your body forgot what
we're
-5
heading into
was.
hibernation. We're like shutting down.
And you're like, this is awful. I hate it.
It's really funny how our baseline for hot and cold changes so drastically. Yeah. Like, I moved from a place
that is tropical.
That is not really tropical. Desert, like, it's desert, like...
Oh, from the part of the country you're from.
From the part of the country that I'm from. I'm from the north of Mexico, but, like, not the north coast, but the north middle. And that is just like a dry sort of heat,
arid,
that gets trapped in between like the mountains. Like the city where I lived, the mountains would surround the valley, and so the heat got trapped in the valley, and it was so dry and so hot so much of the year that my baseline for heat was completely out of whack. When I got here in September, and I was freezing my ass. I was just like, how can anyone survive this?
Yep.
And then
that's the mistake people make. They arrive in September.
Yeah.
That's the mistake everybody
yes, don't do it.
I blame the school system, because that's when my partner needed to go to school, was September.
Yeah.
But oh boy, I only had like a couple of months to get used to the cold, and we were living in a basement apartment. That first year, I think, was the most difficult one, because like you said, my body wasn't ready, wasn't accustomed to it. But like every year after that, I feel like my resistance,
your
my
conditioning,
tolerance has built up.
Yeah.
And now I like go back to Mexico, and I'm like, you guys don't know what cold is.
It's not
Shut
in your
up.
vocabulary.
Put that scarf back in the closet.
Well, I remember going in Venezuela and going, like, they had shops where they had these massive, big, like,
puffer coats,
puffer coat, like Michelin, like the Michelin Man kind of looks like. Like, and I'm sitting there going, like, why do you need this? Like, when do you need this?
When?
Like, and for them, it was just the fashion trend. But I'm like, why would you do that to yourself? Like, it must be so warm.
I remember going to Morocco in, I think it was like February 2018, and the two friends that I were with, both from Canada as well, we rocked up, and it was like, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 degrees Celsius, and we're shucking layers at the airport, right? We're like, off with the sweater, off with the coat. Meanwhile, the locals are like bundled up to the nines, because they're like, it's 50 degrees, it's so cold, and we're like, baby girl, this is what we were looking for when we left
wanted
Wales.
this.
Like we're getting out of Wales to get to 15 degrees. Like, I don't.
What are you talking about?
So yeah, today when I went outside, and it's the first -20 of the season, at least for me.
Yeah.
I think
I think
you're right, it's the first of the season, and it hits differently when it's the first one.
Yeah, it really does. I felt like I couldn't get warm this morning.
On the plus side, the likelihood of the canal being open for more than 72 hours is much higher.
Yes.
I have already, the way that I get to work, I take our public transit system, and we go over a bridge that goes over part of the Ottawa River, and it's already frozen over.
Yeah.
Like, the top of obviously it's just the top of the river, it's not the whole thing.
No.
But the river itself has a solid layer of ice across the full thing, which gives me hope that the Rideau Canal, which they lower the water level to be only 2 foot deep so that it freezes fully, will actually be skatable this year.
And if you're not from Ottawa, or you've never visited Ottawa, this is a really big deal for us because the Rideau Canal is a UNESCO recognized outdoor.
Yeah, it's a World Heritage Site.
It's a World Heritage Site. It is North America's longest outdoor skating rink in the winter. It's actually
the world's largest.
Oh, the world's largest.
Because the widest point of the canal is the widest outdoor skating rink.
Yeah.
In the world.
And it's 7.8 kilometers long.
8.2 if you include the Dow's Lake Loop.
8.2 if you include the Dow's Lake Loop. So for us, it's a really important thing that's been going on for over 100 years.
Yeah.
To go skating on the canal, or go to the canal and watch people skate. And then you go on your skates and you stop for a Tim Hortons donut and a coffee.
Yeah. Or beaver tail.
Beaver tail. I was going to say beaver tail. Like, come on.
You need that
beaver
little
tail on the canal. And it's like a really classic Canadian, but specifically Ottawa thing to do to get out once a year and skate on the canal.
Yep.
And due to climate change and the unpredictable weather that's brought up, it is very unpredictable or very unlikely these past few years that it will actually be fully frozen over for people to safely go on it and skate.
Well, we've had
and the whole length of it too, because in years past, the narrower parts of it will obviously freeze faster than the wider parts. And so in years past, when we haven't had quite as consistently cold weather, those narrow sections will be open. So you'll get like 1, 2, maybe 3 kilometers available to skate on, but not the full length. So this year is the first year in like 4 or 5 where they're like, we're going to get the whole thing.
Yeah.
Get the whole thing.
2 years ago, it didn't open at all.
Nope.
And last year, it opened one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually on the news that people were like flabbergasted.
It was one weekend that it was open, and it wasn't even the whole weekend.
It was
they had it like from 6 a.m. to like 3 p.m. on the first day, and then the next day was just, I think, in the afternoon both days. It was really short.
The science around that is where it's like really interesting because there's some like physics involved and some safety concerns. So like it has to be a certain temperature for a number of days for the water to freeze over a certain depth. I think it's 1 foot first, and then they flood the canal again with fresh water, with like liquid water, so that another layer of thick ice will form. So that means another number of days below a certain temperature that it has to reach in order for the canal to be ready for people to skate on. And it just hasn't happened. Like the conditions haven't been there.
Well, last year was a El Nino year. Is that the right weather phenomenon?
I'm not sure.
Last year was... Where's Pete when you need him? He's probably working. Last year, there was a weather phenomenon. I can't remember if it was El Nino or La Nina, but
they swap.
They're weather systems that essentially... One of them causes a lot of really warm air during the winter, and as a result, we had a relatively mild winter.
Mm-hmm.
This year, my understanding is that we're having the opposite one,
which is a lot of cold air.
Which is a lot of cold air and will result in a much colder winter. So, for people who like winter sports, for people who like skating on the canal, this is your year.
It's also a sweater year.
This is not a knit sweater.
Because let's be real, like some of my sweaters are not made for anything under -20.
Yeah.
Or I want to say warmer, because like they're so warm and like I can't even. Yeah.
You have that Arctic Lights sweater that you made in alpaca.
I thought of wearing it today, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna die. And then I was like, no, this would have been actually a good fit today.
It's impossibly warm.
Well, that one, but it's also, you know what, it is, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When you wear it, it actually doesn't feel that warm. But when you start walking in it and moving in it, then you're like, oh, never mind.
God, what have I done?
But like versus I have another one, like the Julie sweater. That thing is warm the second you put it on, and it's warm the whole time. And it just, that's one of the reasons I don't wear it as often, because it's like in your face warm. Yeah. So, but I'm looking forward to it because I do work unfortunately in a work environment that is insanely cold because men.
I know where you're going.
We can leave it there. No, it's just because I kind of get it. Like the guys who work in this environment all wear very, very thick uniforms. So I get that for them it's like, no, I don't need it to be super. But then us poor civilians who are just like trying to survive in this environment are like, oh my god, I'm dying, it's so cold. So like we all have shawls and like blankets and space heaters under for our feet mostly, but like every season funny. It's a bit of and it depends. It's kind of funny because it has patterns
of the office.
So there's areas where it's colder than other areas. I'm close to a window, but I'm not in a corner. Corners are the worst.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a little cold, but it's not as cold as it could be. Like, there's this girl who is, like, 2 cubicles later, like, further, and she's right at the corner, and holy crap. Like, every single time I go by her cubicle, I'm like, how do you survive here? She's like, and she's all bundled up every single time. She's really tiny, too, so I'm like, oh my god.
Tiny little conservation aside, because this just sparked something in my brain. When I was in grad school, one of the PhD candidates was writing his dissertation on the heat levels in rooms in historic houses that had fireplaces and that didn't have fireplaces. And he did this thing where he hung monitors, like temperature monitors and gauges across the room in like literally like a matrix, like at the top, like every foot down, every foot across, so that he could create a 3-dimensional heat map of the room and like where the heat went. And I remember seeing his data, like he was doing a presentation on it, and at the end he like wrapped up his presentation to our class being like, and in conclusion, if you're in a historic house, work in the middle of the room. Do not work around the walls.
Oh.
Because they were so cold. And it's interesting to see that modern architecture has followed the same pattern.
That's so interesting.
Tiny little aside. He's
also
done, he's published, and he's moved on. He's teaching somewhere now, but yeah.
Is it also true for modern buildings? Like the middle of a room in your house will be warmer than the walls?
I would assume so.
Interesting.
I mean, that seems to be my experience in modern architecture, that the center of the room will be warmer, but I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Carine, tell us about the mittens that you made.
Yes.
Sorry, I caught you in the middle.
No, sorry, because I just don't want this guy to fall off. Fair. These are from the heart mitts or mittens.
They are so sweet.
They're so soft.
Cute.
But that's because
oh my god.
Baby alpaca, of course.
Is it just alpaca?
It's 100% baby alpaca. It's from La Bobineuse. It's literally their baby alpaca brand, or yarn.
If you can, I'd like you to like do a close up of the cable pattern.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Because the cables are so incredibly rich and plump and beautiful.
It's kind of like I don't know which way. No, this way. So you can kind of see how it's doing this little bit of a heart shape. So that's the idea behind the name, from the heart. Yeah. Is that little like heart shaped thingy.
So cute.
It is a free pattern. It is from her name is Liz Darcy, I think.
Okay. We'll put the link below after the fact.
Yes, Liz Darcy designs from the heart mittens and mitts. So you have,
and it was free?
It was free. So this is the mittens version, but they do have the mitt version, which is pretty much the same as you. Yeah, fingerless.
So you just doesn't have the top of it. Okay.
So you can choose to do either fingerless or not. I'd never actually done a full
mitten with the decreases.
I take umbrage with the name fingerless mitts because you still have fingers in the mitt. They're not capped. It's an open mitt.
Yeah, actually, it should be called open mitt.
Open mitts.
I think it's better.
I think.
So yes, these are
semantics.
So.
If anything, there's more fingers, because when you have full mitten,
you
don't see them. Fingers.
This one, it's literally as if you have two. You have one finger and one thumb.
Which has been scientifically proven to be warmer to have fingers in a mitten instead of individual. Yes. Because you're heating up the air around your fingers, which acts as a second layer of insulation and takes less energy for your body to keep warm.
Mittens for the win.
Mittens for the win.
I'm a mitten convert.
Same.
Yes, I love mittens.
I really thought gloves were warmer, but then living here has taught me that it's either gloves under mitten or just mitten.
In January, it's gloves under mitten. There's no getting around it.
Yeah, that's right.
You're doubling up.
You're doubling up.
And then in your pockets.
Yeah, and then in your pockets too. Yeah.
Or in your sleeves. If I'm walking fast, I just put them in my sleeves.
I'll just tuck them up and then into the pocket as well. So there's multiple layers of warmth.
Same.
But I always find it's funny
in the pocket. That's
when people are like, "How can you live there? It's so cold." And you're like, "Well, what am I supposed to do? Not live here?
Not live here?
I can't afford to go elsewhere."
What am I gonna do? Die?
Oh my god! I can't wait till I'm an old retired lady and I can be a snowbird.
Oh.
I don't want to snowbird to Florida because screw you, Florida and the United States. But, okay, so for those of you who don't know, the concept of snowbirding...
I mean, I've been to Florida. It's very nice, but it attracts a certain clientele that I do not engage with.
We disagree with their politics. Let's just leave it at that. But for those of you who don't know, the concept of snowbirding is for people who live in cold weather climes, like here in Ontario, who are retired, maybe have a little bit more of an expendable income or flexible income, who then spend 3 to 4 months of the winter down in warmer parts of the continent. So that could be...
Escaping the frigid.
And sometimes Florida. That could be Costa Rica. That could be lots of places. And
the Caribbean.
The Caribbean, Mexico, wherever. And so I cannot wait to be a retired lady who is also a snowbird. 2052 cannot come soon enough. That is the year I can retire.
There's also this trend where it's not so much going down south as it's going in milder temperatures in Europe. So there's actually a lot of snowbirds going to Portugal.
Oh, 1,000% I would.
And I'm like, yes, sign me up.
I almost
I'll go to Portugal.
100% I will.
On my plane back. I thought about it. I woke up the morning of my flight back from Lisbon and I was like, What if I don't? Didn't get on the plane today.
What if I just stayed here forever?
What if I just did a little bit of immigration? Just a little tiny immigration.
Thought about it.
Do it.
What about your mitts?
Yeah, what are you working on?
Well, I decided to not knit, and instead I went for nail binding or nail binding. I think I've mentioned it before, but I took a class of nail binding with a wonderful instructor called Miriam Tepper, and Miriam taught us how to do 4 of the basic nail binding stitches, and the warmest of those 4 that I learned was this one, the Cronin stitch, which is basically a double stitch. It's a double layered fabric. Yeah. And thank you, Ali.
It's so nice.
It is. It was such a pleasure to work with this wool. Like this wool, the gray one is one that I've shown on the pod before because Ali and I and Carine, we were at the thrift store.
Yeah.
And we just found this like random skeins of raw wool. Yep. Yeah. Not raw wool, but it was like finely spun singles that was worsted weight,
minimally processed,
very minimal process, and it came from a farm in Alberta, so it was also Canadian. I was so excited to have it, and I didn't have a proper or like a exciting pattern to work on it. But then when I learned nail binding, it turns out that kind of barely spun fiber,
it's like Lopi, right?
Yeah, it's like Lopi, is actually not only historically accurate but also the easiest one to work with because it's the easiest one to splice, which you have to do because every stitch you pull the total length of your yarn through the stitch, so you run out after a couple rows and you have to splice. So it turns out also there are no patterns for nail binding.
Oh, really?
You have to wing it, which was so exciting for me because I had taken the class and I had learned how to like go around, go back and forth, make increases, make decreases, and like cast on and such. But I had not put those skills into practice. And so I managed to just figure it out myself. I started with a circle, then I went down, and then I made it to the measurement of my own hand so that I would fit. And then I figured out to do some increases for the thumb gusset, and it was just very fun to go over that.
Really experimental,
just take notes on what I was making and say like, maybe I think I'll put a couple decreases right here. So I wrote down where I put the decreases so I could replicate it here. And it was so chill and very like, I guess like creatively flow. It flowed creatively. Very, very nicely and very chill. And so I am quite pleased with the result. I think it looks like a mitten. It works like a mitten. It's definitely not going to be something that that's historically accurate.
That's okay.
But I'm happy that I learned this skill and that I put it to work on something that actually ended up usable.
It's
warm.
Oh, she's warm.
Warm.
It is in your face warm.
This is not a transitional season mitt. This is a deep winter mitt.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
That's
good.
We're gonna need
it's
that.
really interesting because the inside of the mitten looks very similar.
Oh, it does.
Very similar, but it because of the way that you work the stitches, it kind of makes sort of like a spine, like a raised spine spiral.
Nice.
So if I wanted to, I could flip it around and use it the other way. But for now, I'm really enjoying this like zigzaggy.
It looks really good.
Braided kind of style. So yeah, highly recommend. It was really nice.
So we have a lot of compliments.
Thank you.
So they also tell us what do you knit in the summer? Because of like that temperature
wool.
swing.
Not that much wool.
Not that much wool, yeah. I think the answer is
I knit with wool
cotton.
all year round.
You get more selective, right? So like, for example, in the summer, we move our knit nights from inside bubble tea places to out in the park.
Yes.
And as a result, I typically will have like a project on the go that maybe isn't knit, maybe is like a cotton or like a wool linen blend, something like that. That's what I'll work on when I'm outdoors. When I'm sitting at home in my couch in the air conditioning, we're working on wool. It's fine.
It sucks.
Like outdoors, I'm going to go for cotton or tencel or bamboo or something that's
things.
That's
maybe
not...
socks so that you don't have like that huge volume of heavy animal fiber in your lap.
Yeah.
I think the volume is a difference for me. I will work with wool still, but I'll stick to DK and fingering weight. because it's not hot on my hands to have one little, like a thin strand of wool through my fingers is not hot.
Yeah, as opposed to like
but I will
bulky.
not be working with my bulkies and with my lopies, you know, because that's just going to get into a sweaty mess.
Hot,
pretty
it's
much.
kind of nice though, because as I think we said earlier this year, and as we probably reiterated again this year, or more recently, we go on vacation in February down to the hot places, right? And so for me, that vacation is the kickoff of my like warm weather knitting, because I'll start a project when we go down south that is in cotton, tencel, linen, whatever, and then I may not work on it when we come back, but then as soon as it starts to get warm in like late April, early May, that's when I'm like, cool, I already have this project ready to go. I can grab it as soon as we have a nice weather day. I'm sitting out on the balcony with that project. We're leaning into the warm weather as it's occurring.
Yeah. Well, it's also like, it's also, think about it time wise. In the spring, you're thinking about your summer wardrobe.
Yep.
So you're thinking about what am I going to wear, and obviously knitting like tops or like t-shirt styles things is more like short sleeves is more what you're going to go for, or at least that's what I go for, because that's what I plan on wearing. As to wear more in the fall, that's when I want to do my big sweaters, because I'm thinking about what am I going to wear when it's minus 20.
Exactly.
So sometimes they do overlap.
Yeah.
But especially if it's like gift knitting, of course. But aside from that, usually that's how it works for me. Is spring, we go for lighter things for the purpose of wearing them in the summer. It doesn't always work that way, but I try. And then same thing with the fall, you go for like heavier, or that's where I go for my cable stuff and my like thicker yarn.
You pick up what feels the most correct for that time of year.
Yeah.
What feels the most correct.
Yeah. Right?
I think that's so true for
That's
me.
the most correct way to say it.
Especially since, as I said earlier, we experience up to and beyond an 80-degree temperature swing over the course of a year here in Ottawa, that it's kind of hard to say, I'm only going to knit with this one type of fiber all year round exclusively, because that's just not realistic if you want to keep up that craft over the warm months.
Yeah.
So
there was a year where there was 100-degree swing.
Yep.
Oh,
there was a year when it reached minus 40 in the winter and plus 40 in the summer.
Plus 42.
Oh, yeah.
Plus 42.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, we've had, I think Canada holds the record for the coldest temperature ever registered. Yeah. I forgot where. It's not Ottawa. It's up north. I forgot.
Colder
I think
than Siberia?
Yeah. It's the coldest recorded in history.
It's because
so it's not like colder all the time. It's just the coldest record.
Was it an inhabited area? Do you remember?
I don't remember if it was
I think it was up near like Churchill or something in Manitoba. Like it
oh
wasn't
my God,
even
not
within
even
the
Yeah, it wasn't. I forgot what it was.
Well, there was a few years ago where we got the distinction. Ottawa got the distinction of being the coldest capital on record.
Oh yeah.
That winter, and I don't think that record has been broken.
No, because that's the year that they said it was colder in Ottawa than it was in Mars.
Yeah, we were also colder than Mars.
Oh no, Antarctica actually has the number one. Okay, inhabited place then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
But yeah, so it's really okay if you are into meteorology in any way, shape, or form. When I guess even now, start looking at the weather radar maps of the entirety of North America. I don't know what the phenomenon is called. Again, Pete, why do you have to work today? But there's this phenomena where we like the warm air will kind of do this, like it's a polar vortex. That's what it's called. We get polar vortexes.
You're a polar vortex.
You're a polar vortex. Okay.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment because it's a real big deal when it happens.
So just for the record, on Earth, we are looking at minus 89.2 Celsius. This was in Antarctica in 1983.
Holy fuck.
We also have a minus 92. I don't know where that is.
That does not sound real.
I remember when I was in... This must have been like probably like first grade, second grade, maybe third grade, somewhere in there. I made a bet with my dad that we were going to reach a certain temperature, and he was like, no way, it's not going to happen. And it did. It reached that temperature that winter, and the temperature with the wind chill was minus 56 degrees.
Holy.
This was in the early 2000s. There was one day in the winter in January where we hit minus 56 degrees with the wind chill here in Ottawa.
So
Celsius.
According to Google, The coldest temperature ever recorded in Canada is minus 63 Celsius in Snag, Yukon. On February 3rd, 1947.
I believe it. The Yukon is cold. Beautiful, but cold.
Oh, but the coldest windshield was Nunavut, which makes a lot of sense, minus 92 Celsius.
Well, with
Celsius.
the tundra, the wind, the way it whistles across the tundra.
Highest temperature.
Thinking about it.
Highest temperature recorded 45 degrees Celsius in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that
In the
makes
prairies,
sense.
yeah, they bake.
Jesus.
Yeah, they do. Well, because it's so flat.
Yeah.
Right? There's no reprieve from the sun.
I just
This is a
wanna say,
weather-heavy episode, man.
Yeah, it is.
It always amazes me how different areas of Canada are.
It's so freaking big.
It's so big, and I don't think people understand outside of, even within Canada, how big it is.
We can fit 14 Frances within the boundaries of Canada.
We don't want to, though. Please don't. Please don't bring that many friends. Francis.
I have 100% said this on the pod before, and I will repeat it again. The Arrogant Worms, which is a parody band, song called Canada's Really Big, is very educational and enjoyable, and I encourage you greatly to go listen to it, because it will tell you exactly how large Canada is.
Really big.
We've got like freaking 8 time zones, 9 times. Like, this is such a... Anyway, we're huge.
Anyway.
That's why everybody goes elsewhere on vacation, because it's cheaper to fly from here to, say, Spain.
Oh, the dogs are here.
Hi.
Hi, doggos. Hi.
Yes, you get 2 for 1.
2 for 1 pet today.
Come
Here, I'm gonna try to...
Barnita.
Hi, girl. Great news, everyone.
Barnita.
My dog's sister, Barnita, is visiting. Actually, his sister from the same litter.
Come on.
Here she is. Oh, she needs help.
Oh, okay. Do you need some help?
She's like, guys, I can't do it by myself.
Look
Okay.
at them.
They're so cute.
They love each other, and they love humans, and
They just
on
love
Instagram.
life
I
and
love-
food.
Oh, no, sir. Absolutely the hell no. Hard pass.
well, that does
look at
come
me.
along if you have pugs.
Note to self, don't get a pug. Just
I
love
also
Bilbo instead.
learned that if you have a group of pugs, it's called a grumble.
That's so accurate.
So welcome to the grumble episode.
Yay!
Look at them, they're kissing. What the heck?
They're siblings. It's a little weird.
It's a little weird,
Do
guys.
not impose your human prejudices
Okay, you know what,
on
fair.
these 2 doggies.
Okay, no, but actually, no. I will impose them, because inbreeding is the reason why they look like this.
That's so true.
It's not good, man. They can't breathe in the summer.
They're so cute, so sickly.
So cute.
They're like
So
tiny
sick.
Victorian orphans.
Well,
Yeah.
now that we have them here,
This is a
Should
great
we-
opportunity to
yeah.
tell you about the giveaway.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Segue.
so if you want to participate in this giveaway, the reason the dogs are here is because they are the mascots of our channel. This is Bilbo and this is Barnita. So if you want to participate in the giveaway, you please comment Bilbo, Bilbo,
Yep.
in the comments, and let us know what you're making, what you currently have on your needles.
Or hooks. Or hoops.
Or hooks, or hoops,
Or whatever.
or
what you're working on.
whatever you're working on. And you'll be entered into the giveaway for a gift card to our local yarn store, Wabi Sabi. We love Wabi Sabi. We love Judy, the owner of Wabi Sabi, and
Yeah, we
all
do.
the wonderful people who work
my God,
there.
they're so
and
good.
they've been so kind and generous to give us a gift card to share with you guys. They will, their gift cards are applicable to all yarn and classes and notions and bags and whatever it is that they have on their online store.
Yep.
If you are local to Ottawa, you're welcome to pop in and pick something in person.
Lots of great
But
coffee shops in the
If
neighborhood.
you are
with
not
which
in
to
Ottawa,
craft
they
out
do
of.
deliver anywhere in Canada. I'm not sure if they deliver internationally.
No, we're not. No tongues. Sorry.
They
They do mail internationally.
They do mail internationally, but that might take a little longer.
I will also have to pause and take a second here and say, for those of you who are in mainland Europe and Ireland, I believe they have paused shipping there with the new regulations. So if you receive a gift card from them and you want to make a purchase from them and you can't purchase directly from them, if you make a local purchase, we'll mail it to you.
That's
Yes.
because of these new regulations. If you live in mainland Europe and Ireland, you know all what's happening here.
All about that.
But still, if you win the gift card, we'll make it work for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you so much to Wabi Sabi for, offering us the opportunity to share a little bit of the Yarny love with you guys. And if you want to participate, comment the word Bilbo, Bilbo, the name of my dog, our mascot, and then tell us what you're working on currently. Yeah. And we will pick a winner over the next 2 weeks.
Why don't we do it the next time we go live in January, just to give people a chance to watch,
catch
up. The holiday season can be busy. Our YouTube queues get long.
Yeah,
yes, that is fair.
And we're not exactly Santa Claus,
No.
but we will come back to you early January next time we go live, and we will announce here live who the winner is of the giveaway.
Absolutely. It's for $50 Canadian.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that was said or not.
It wasn't, no.
Which is like 2 skeins of yarn?
Yeah,
Depending
2
on
skeins
what
of
you
yarn.
get.
I want to say.
Depending on what you get, like a fingering wig,
Or a lot of notions.
you're thinking about.
I'm just covered in fur.
Yeah, she really does have
this
a
is why
halo
I
of hair.
didn't wear a hand knit today, because I'm actually allergic to dogs. So I wore
It's
off
snowing!
the rack so it can all
It's
turn
snowing pug!
the laundry machine.
It's raining pugs. Hallelujah. Oh, you left pumpkin on my pants. She eats pumpkin puree in her kibble because she's very fancy like that.
Nice.
Yeah, she's almost vegetarian, like her mom.
Like her mom.
Fun fact: Barnita is Bilbo's sister, but her mom is my partner's sister. So it's a real reunion when they come to visit, because it's like human siblings and dog siblings
I'm just
together.
really allergic to dogs, okay?
Do you need help there?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, why don't you hold it and then I'll...
Yeah. There. Ooh!
This is the friendship. This is real
This better
friendship.
not
right
awaken
there.
anything in me.
If it does, you're welcome. Excellent. That should be okay, I think. Thanks, buddy.
Oh,
Anyway,
man.
oh yeah, big.
Yeah. Okay,
Big
bye,
little.
dogs.
Bye, pups.
Well, that was interesting.
Woo! I'm gonna sneeze real soon.
You might. You might.
That's okay. You're worth it.
You good
worth it.
girl.
I'll make it back on the
Good
couch.
girl.
Like, oh, she's yawning now. It was
No,
a
it's
lot
nap
for
time.
her.
Bilbo's
This is
over
a
there
lot.
looking all like.
She was yawning.
This was an exciting time. Let's take a breather.
Well, do we want to do our inspiration?
I think that's a great idea.
Before we do an inspiration, I just want to take a second and reference back to last time's inspiration.
Which was?
Well, I said that I was excited about the Pantone color of the year.
I'm no longer excited about the Pantone color.
And for those of you who may or may not have seen it, this year it's Mocha Mousse, which, great color, but doesn't really work for me in my knitting because
that is my actual color.
we are Mocha Mousse, and so if we knit with that, we gonna look Nicky.
Is that what that is? I don't even know what that color is.
I'm just gonna pull it up.
naked.
I am so out of the loop.
That's okay. It's
And
being off of social media is actually really good for your brain, so I think you're winning.
I'll tell you what the color is. It's the color of tepid coffee that you left out for too long.
Looks delicious,
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
but
I don't
We're
want to
gonna-
knit with that.
we're gonna look a little bit naked.
Yeah.
Like the it's all over the feed now.
I remember you saying that
Like
you,
it's making me hungry, not excited.
I remember you saying that you take your tea the color of your skin.
Yeah,
That is the color of tea with milk.
yeah,
yeah, that
Cafe
kind of
au
lait.
lait.
Like cafe au lait. Yeah.
Like,
I'm
why couldn't
not
we
excited
have?
about
Why couldn't
that.
we have Saratoga Signature Blue as our color of the year?
Seriously.
Or oops, I just knocked the mic.
Sorry, that must have been loud.
Or whatever the heck this green is.
Emerald.
Oh, Makeover Pink. That would have been a great color of the year.
Barbie pink.
You know, options.
There were so many
Options?
colors to choose from, and Pantone went for tepid coffee.
I don't think I want to knit in that color anyway.
neither.
I feel. I mean,
Color.
it could be for me. It would be a
Beautiful color.
nice neutral potentially.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I don't really knit with neutrals that much.
No,
I don't
you're not
like
a neutrals girly.
No, not really.
We did talk about that in our last episode.
I know. Like
didn't we?
Yeah, we sure
I
did.
enjoy like colorful things.
Well, me too.
Anyway.
And anyway,
Shall we move on to?
I think we shall.
Inspiration.
Let me kick us off.
So good.
That was fun.
Well, would you like to kick us off then, Annie?
Yeah. Hold on. I had thought about this, and now it's escaping me.
Well, here, I can go first.
Yeah, you go first, then you go.
My inspiration this week is actually based on our swap that we did.
God, so is mine!
So we did on Thursday, we did a yarn swap.
Our annual yarn swap in our knit group.
Swap with our knitting group. And I kind of zoned in on these trailhead... 2 skeins of trailhead yarn, which is
Actually,
tencel based.
In the photo?
Those are the ones that I brought.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess I have a picture.
They're covered up in the photo that I have.
So this is...
Those are the ones that I brought.
It's you who brought them? Well, they're mine now. So it's 2 of these. Okay, so the one that's still in a skein there.
So beautiful.
So it's the same color twice. And I'm kind of obsessed with these.
It's like a black, a white, a pink kind of gradation.
And
effect.
I literally like zoned in on them while she was zoning in on the purple. And I was like, So these were the ones that like called to me. Not only did they call to me, I immediately decided to redo the rocket tee and the outline tee. So I'm literally going to be... So I pulled all of the tencel I had left over from previous projects because I've already done the rocket tee and the outline tee. And I'm going to essentially make 2 new versions. Yep. One with these colors and the other one is probably going to be a mix of all my leftovers. So it's going to be like multicolored.
Oh, that's so fun.
I don't know which one's going to be which yet. I don't know. I'm just waiting for inspiration to strike. But the point is that is my inspiration this week. It is tencel and trail ahead. And I know that she's
doesn't
not
dye
doing
the space anymore.
Skeins anymore.
And like, skeins.
But just so you know, we still love the skeins.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what. Last time I saw Trailhead at their booth in a Twist Festival, I bought a pack of 5 minis.
So did I.
Yeah. 20 grams each. So it was the same amount as a skein, except it came in 5 different colors.
Which is kind of cool. Like, you can still do stuff, but it's like,
Okay, but here's the thing. I asked Sam about it, and she said that while they would love to do it again in the future, they were having issues with their supplier in getting in the base in order to do that. So maybe one day, hopefully, if the stars align and things work out for them.
Yeah.
But at this time, it's just not possible. So, but I told her, I was like, if you ever bring them back, I can guarantee you that there are many of us who are going to buy them.
And we will buy all of them.
Quantities. I forgot to do an increase. 100%. I'm going to have to take back. That's fine. No. But, that base is so nice. That base is so nice.
Tencel is so beautiful.
It's just, and it's funny because I was
drapey.
I still remember when we went to the first Knit City, Montreal, everybody was freaking out over it. I didn't freak out over it. I didn't know what the fuss, no, I didn't know what the fuss was about because I'd never worked with it. And I was like, it looks too small for me. And then I kind of just
lace weight.
Bought like this. I found this one skein that was like, unicorn color and a blue one and I was like, okay, I'll try it just to see, and it kind of like sat there for a bit until the rocket tee came along. And then we all knit one in tencel. Well, you didn't, you ended up not making it in tencel.
No, it is tencel.
No, it was your previous t-shirt project. You reused the yarn.
Yeah.
So like, but then I did it in tencel and I was like, this is actually so wonderful to work with.
It's beautiful because tencel is silky and shiny and lightweight.
Yeah. And environmentally friendly.
And all of these wonderful qualities. And it's also very like scalable. So you can use it as lace weight, or you can double it up or triple it up and use it as fingering weight or
so
as DK.
Shiny.
It is so cute.
I have at least 1, 2, 3 more projects worth in my stash.
Yeah, me too.
I'm so stoked to get started.
And the only reason I brought those 2 skeins to the yarn swap is because I'm trying to focus on more solids, and that was like a variegated? 3-color variegated yarn that I just was having a lot of trouble seeing translated into my wardrobe.
That's gonna look so good though, held double.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. As the rocket tee, I think it's gonna look so good.
Nice.
Yeah, especially if you hold it double. Opposite colors together. You know what I mean?
Like the front and the end.
If you offset the colors so that each stitch has 2 different colors.
That's what I plan on doing. I'm gonna try when you call it, wind them.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to wind them like one from the back end and one from the front end.
Yeah,
so that they're
but if you're pulling from both ends of the ball, the same ball
should be the same.
Oh yeah, you're right. But it won't matter anyway.
Allie, what are you knit-inspired by?
So similarly to Carine, I was knit-inspired after our knit group swap on Thursday. Not by something new I brought in, but by my stash itself. So I was determined this year to get more than just like one skein of yarn out of my stash. I really wanted to be more like maybe not ruthless, maybe that's not the right word, but I really wanted to like take out stuff that I was for sure not going to use. So I pulled everything out of my stash. I had it all over the floor, all over my bed, and I was going through it, and I was being really like, can I envision a project with it, even if it's not the one I make, but can I even envision a project? No. Going into the swap. Mm-hmm. And so I took out a lot of yarn, but in the meantime, I had so much fun going through what I already had and being like, oh, I forgot I had this, and oh my god, this is so much softer than I remembered, and oh, that color with that color would actually look really good. So I was really inspired by that. And then at the swap and at the week previous to it, and I have so many like single skeins of sock yarn because that's how I would classify myself as a sock knitter. And after going through my stash and after looking at everything I have and then looking at what people were making while we were at the swap, one of our knit group members was working on this shawl.
Oh yeah, that was Lynn.
Ooh, will it load? Come on. There we go.
We got like a second.
I'll put it down below. But they were working on this shawl, and
beautiful.
So while I was going through my stash, I was like in my mind grouping together these individual skeins to make this shawl.
Nice.
And so I'm really inspired by what I already have, which is good for my wallet.
Love that.
Mm-mm. But now I want to cast on 87 million things, and I already have like 10 whips. So I'm trying to exercise some self-control. I'm doing like over the holidays, I'm going to try to finish as many things as possible. And then in January, cast on.
Cast on everywhere. I plan on doing exactly the same thing. Isn't it nice though when you go through your stash and it feels like you're visiting a new yarn store?
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. I was like, ooh, it's
squishy. Like you do the same thing. You touch, you feel, you look at the colors. It's literally the same as, walking into a store.
Totally.
Actually. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I'm just picturing my stash, and I'm like, ooh, those two as well. Combo I hadn't thought of before. Anyway. I'm like on 17 planes right now.
Yeah.
So, Annie, have you remembered what's inspired?
I have not remembered, but there's so many things that have inspired me this past 2 weeks. I'm just going to pick one. Okay. Oh, this is hard. Deciding something on the fly.
You can pick more than one.
Yeah. I can pick more than one?
Yeah, this is our podcast. We can do
I've been watching a lot of YouTube. YouTube is my favorite media outlet so far. No wonder we picked this one to put our content on. But I just find it's like so comforting to watch content that has been created directly from the person and has not gone through like a production company.
Yep.
So you get like really real.
It's like a one-person show.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. So the one thing that's been inspired me, that I've been like diving really deep into, is a show on YouTube called Tasting History with Max Miller. You've seen it before?
I've seen an episode or two.
I absolutely freaking love this show, and the host Max is just a wonderful presenter, and he's beautifully nerdy, and he's obsessed with the history of food, and every episode he will pick one recipe from an ancient text and he will recreate it on his channel.
That's so cool.
And in the middle he will give you the history of where that came from and like some relevance and like who's been seen eating that, why they came up to that, how it evolved into something that we know today. And it's just been wonderful. The last one that I watched was Thanksgiving episode where he was talking about like different Thanksgiving meals from like ancient times. And now that we're coming up to the holiday season, he has a wonderful one about eggnog and how eggnog came to be.
I gotta watch that.
It is so interesting and so comforting. And I find, because his episodes are like 30, 40 minutes long, you know, because there's a lot of history to be said about those foods.
Yep.
So I just grab my knitting, plop myself down on the couch, and watch Tasting History with Max Miller. And I'll just have a fantastic time. Excellent. Just like knitting on and watching him make ancient recipes. So
nice.
Yeah, it's just lovely to watch something comforting and low-key while working on my knitting.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it.
And like it's nice because it's cozy, but cozy with like still knowledge vibes,
It's
right?
like,
Because you're
I'm
still learning
learning.
something.
I'm learning.
It's cozy learning.
It's cozy learning.
That's exactly what it is.
I feel like cozy learning is one thing that
that's what I aspire to every day of my
I
life.
love that.
I aspire to be. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I still want to feel like I'm a better person or that I've learned something, but I don't want it to be academic and formal and structured. I just want it to be cozy.
Yep.
Yes. I want to relax while I'm learning.
There is
relax.
something to be said about listening to an audiobook, like a nonfiction audiobook, while cozy down on my couch with a knitting project and a boozy hot chocolate. Like, that is how I want to spend every day of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds
and
like
it doesn't even have to be an audiobook on, like, a particularly nice part of history. Like, I listened to an audiobook earlier, so last winter, back in, like, January, February, called The Radium Girls, which was about, it's really dark, about the history of radium dial painters and how they got radium poisoning, and which led to, you know,
fascinating
labor laws and things like that in the States. And I remember it was so dark and so sad of a history that I was like, everything else in my environment has to be happy so that I can actually consume this book and understand it and take it in and learn something from it, because it's really important history. That, couch, blanket, knitting, boozy hot chocolate, dark history audiobook.
Exactly.
Amazing combination
love.
in my opinion.
Absolutely love.
Opinion. Carine, can we see what you're currently making? It looks stunning.
Oh, thank you. This is the run. I've been working on this for quite a while. I just had to put it on hold to knit for gifts. But this is the run sweater.
It's edgy Elsa.
Yeah, pretty
Goth
much.
Elsa.
Obviously, the sleeves have yet to be done, but essentially I'm almost there, slowly but surely.
This is a
My
pattern
friend,
by
it's so beautiful.
Unwind Knitwear, Rachel Isley, I believe.
I think
Yep,
so.
Rachel Isley.
I think you are correct. And I just lost
usually
it. Yeah, I
am.
know. It's fine. Doesn't matter. I think so. I
It's-
have it right
It's
here.
so beautiful.
It is all done
It
in
is.
Alley Cat yarns in their yak silk base.
Yes.
I love that you chose your contrast color.
Unwind
I
knitwear,
chose
and it's
the
pretty
contrast
much.
color.
Yeah, she did.
I chose the color.
She
I
did.
love
But
that you
look
chose-
at how close to the actual original it
You
is.
do that a lot.
I
huh?
love that. I love that. This is the original.
Almost
It's
exactly the
almost the same.
I was gonna say, I really love how the contrast color that Ali chose for you is actually not a solid.
No, it's not.
It is a gentle
So
speckle.
yeah,
So it
there's a
has
little bit of like
a little pink, a little yellow, a little bit of like purple, and mostly cream.
yeah, it's mostly like
So
creamy or a little bit white.
the contrast that you're getting is so soft and so like, I guess, intentional
Yeah.
but fun.
Yeah. But
And
it's
you
still
wouldn't-
so high
You wouldn't be able to
contrast.
tell it from a distance. It just looks like cream. But if you look at it closely, it's fun. And it's
I
surprising.
love it. And the only thing is that it is fingering, so it's taking a while.
It's sock weight yarn.
It's taking a hot minute.
And
And it's like, oh, you're almost done. I'm like, no, I still have like a lot. And the thing is, I also like they're asking for 17.25 inches of length before I get to.
is that from here all the way down?
Yeah, and I'm like,
okay.
that's
At least
way
that's
too
not
short.
like 17. That would be
No.
not a
So
way too much.
but from here to 17, it's like right here for me. This adds like. This adds a little bit.
Quite a bit. It turns out people are curvy.
So these curves are like adding a little bit to it. So I have to add probably like 2-3 inches.
Because of my humps. My humps.
Pretty much.
My
love.
lovely
So,
lady
yeah.
lumps.
But yeah, this is
back it in the front.
this
Check
is
it out.
This is definitely
Can you tell we're millennials?
just a little bit.
Through and through.
I still remember when this song came out, and I was a kid, and I was like, I have no idea what they're talking about.
I did not know either, but I loved
I
singing
love
my
the
humps.
song.
Week, I had every single lyric memorized,
Me too.
which is
I was such a fan of Fergie.
the Black Eyed Peas.
The Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
Ooh. Anyway.
Music of the 2000s.
So we're probably not going to see you again because the holidays are approaching, and in the part of the world where we live, they are observed.
Yeah,
We observe the holidays with intentional rest. And I don't know about the two of you, but I am a big fan of all of the pagan aspects of Christmas.
Happy Saturnalia.
Happy Saturnalia, and I love the solstice. I grew up in a Catholic home, which like came with a like a whole other slew of traditions for Christmas. I don't follow those anymore. But I freaking love the pagan aspects of it. So there's a big tree in my house right now.
Beltane? Is that the one that's the New Year in Celtic?
I forget what the actual name is.
Either way,
I have decked my halls, and I'll be wearing my cozy sweaters over the next few weeks, and I'll be making a simmer pot with cinnamon and orange and star anise, so that my home is, you know, like feeling good and cozy, and I'll put some intention into my new year. So I'll be resting quite intentionally over the next couple of weeks. So we won't see you live until January.
Yeah.
It's Yule. Thank you, Lexi.
Yes, Yule. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I just want to say I'm obsessed with a Yule cat.
Beltane is in midsummer. Wow, I was so off.
You were kind of off.
I remember that Samhain was like around Halloween, but
Samhain is Halloween.
I was so off. It's like, oops, sorry.
Are you observing the holiday festivities?
Yes. So, I am in a family where, like, my mom's side of the family observes Christmas. My dad's side of the family is sick, so they don't celebrate they don't celebrate Christmas for like the religious reasons. They celebrate Christmas because it's like a time you can get together and give each other gifts.
Exactly.
So we my mom and I are heading out to Vancouver to spend the holidays with my sister and her partner and his family, and so she's got this cute little tree that she puts in her apartment, and I think they've decorated the fish tank this year.
Oh, that's so fun.
They got a fish over the summer and so I'm an aunt again. To fish. And if I remember correctly, their names are Frank and Squish.
Oh my god, Frank and Fish.
Frank, Fish, Frank, Squish, and oh my gosh, I'm a bad aunt. I can't remember the name of the third one.
Oh my god, I can't believe this.
Sorry, Meg, if
so
you're watching.
bad.
I know you're not watching, but sorry, Meg. And Sean.
What kind of fish?
My sister sent us a video when she first got them, and they're so small, you can't even see them like in the video at all. They're so tiny.
Cute.
But they're let me see.
One of my neighbors has shrimp, but like the teeny tiny miniature ones.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And like we went to their house one time, and they were like, "What is this empty tank?" And I'm like, "It's not empty. It has our shrimp in it. They're freaking miniature. They look like specks of dust."
Yeah.
But they're still alive.
They're still alive.
¿Dónde está el video?
Patiently waiting for el video.
I don't know where it's gone.
It's okay. You don't have to pull it out now.
Yeah, but like I want to watch it though because it's kind of cute.
Okay. Carine, are you observing any festivities?
Okay,
yes. My family doesn't really celebrate Christmas for their own reasons, but my partner's family certainly does, and I'm very grateful for that because I love Christmas. Not so much for the religious purposes. I don't really care about that, but I love the getting together and the spending time together.
Okay,
and,
same.
Yeah, for me, it's really the getting together. And this year is the first time in 2 years that we're going to be all together. So me, my partner, his mom and dad, and his brother, and his brother's girlfriend, who are coming from France. So everybody's going to be in the same house for about 2 weeks. So that's going to be fun. And it's also our first time celebrating New Year's Eve together.
Aww,
we have
nice.
not done that since we've been together because most of the time my partner is working during that time.
Yeah.
So it's the first time he has off. So we get to
welcome
the new year all together for the first time ever.
Are you going to kiss at midnight?
Oh, you bet your ass I'm going to have like mistletoe and I'm going to like deep... Okay.
Oh!
That's not safe for podcast content right there.
This is family
I'm
content.
like, hey, baby. No.
If we ever get a Patreon. If we ever get a Patreon.
Should we start an OnlyFans where we talk about our raunchy shit?
Maybe not.
Let's not.
Let's not do that.
Let's not.
We don't want to go there.
We're already backsliding on posting on social media. We get an OnlyFans and then we never post on it.
So
we'd need an Only Knits for us to actually post on it.
So over in the chat, Lexi says that they are a pagan, and so they've shared with us that Yule is in December, Beltane is midsummer, Samhain is Halloween, Ostra is Easter, and then we have Beltane of Lugnaset and Lammas in summer, and Imbolc is February.
One of my favorite parts of Christmas
Thank you.
is the Yule Cat. I know a lot of people don't care about it in the Western, but I love the Yule Cat so much.
What's interesting for me is that a lot of the pagan aspects were sort of like rubbed off on Christianity.
Well, yes, 100%.
That was intentional. No, that was intentional. The way the Roman Empire did it was they were like, oh, if we can combine pagan holidays with this new Christianity that we're imposing,
correct,
then they won't rebel because they'll still get
assimilate.
drunk at the same time as they usually get drunk every year.
Yeah.
So that's what they did.
And you want to know what?
Tactic of the colonizer.
It was effective, but it made it so that we subconsciously or unconsciously developed all of these pagan inspired or based traditions around the Christian traditions of Christmas, and those are the ones that I really connect with. Mm-hmm. So like the bringing in greenery inside your house and cleaning.
The Christmas tree is a German tradition though that is only like more in our mainstream society. Well, I say in the British Empire from Prince Albert.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he brought the tradition with him when he married Queen Victoria in the 1840s. And
Thank you, because I love that tradition. I also bring a wreath in.
It's still pagan in origin, but it made its... We have it in Canada today because Prince Albert brought it from what is today Germany into the English royal court. And
is that the same Prince Albert that had a
piercing named
after him?
I mean, obviously this is a myth, but
I don't think so. I think it was one of his descendants who the piercing is named after.
I don't think it was him. I thought it was him.
I don't think it was him exactly.
Well, either way, I thought it was a myth. No, man, I didn't think it was actually true.
Many kids and grandkids. Yes, several of whom were named Albert or like Albert's the middle name.
Maybe,
wouldn't be surprised.
Another really good comment from Lexi that not only were those some of those pagan traditions rubbed on to Christianity, but also they took some of the really special aspects of it, like the number 13, and demonized it.
Yes.
Or like overlaid some negative.
Which I just want to point out that Friday the 13th for me is usually a lucky day. I don't know why. I don't question it. I'm just happy about it.
We just had a Friday 13th.
Yes, and it's always a lucky day for me.
That's
like nice. Good things happen on that day for me. I don't know why.
And the number 13 is like good luck in other cultures as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm happy to continue connecting with those special traditions, but I'm on a journey to learn a little bit more about where they actually come from, to try to decolonize them a little bit. But in the meantime, I really, really enjoy all of these like Christmassy, I guess, paraphernalia
vibes.
Okay. I have a thing that I want to say that was like a hot topic when I mentioned it at work the other day, and I'm curious to know what other people think. So, I don't decorate for the holidays. For any holiday. I don't do seasonal decoration. For multiple reasons. Number one, I am lazy AF. Number two, I don't really want to pay for things that are going to be on display 1 month out of the year and in storage 11 months of the year.
Another good reason.
When we were having this conversation at work, because people were talking about like, oh, I've just put my tree up, I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I don't decorate for the holidays. Literally my whole group of coworkers was like, shocked and appalled. And so I'm just curious, am I the only one? Please, I can't be the only one. There's got to be other people out there. Also, another reason I don't decorate for the holidays is because I never celebrate in my own home. I always celebrate in like either my mom's place, my sister's place. Like I celebrate elsewhere. Yeah. So I don't see the point in decorating when it's just going to be for me because
no, you're not alone.
Lazy.
I have for me.
Curious. Anybody else?
I do that half the time. So this year I haven't decorated at all. Because, again, same thing, I'm celebrating somebody else. But then I'll get years where it's the opposite. Even if I'm not celebrating in my house, I feel like I want to decorate everything. So I have moods, I guess. But there's nothing wrong with it.
I feel like it's such a personal choice that has been unfortunately set as the standard. Like, you're a Grinch if you don't decorate. Like, not really.
First of all, the Grinch is not a bad character. Okay.
As I get older, I sympathize with
the Grinch a lot, so what's that?
Exactly. So no, I don't think you're alone. For a really long time, I didn't decorate either. But like I said, there is like, everybody has like a favorite thing.
Yeah.
And for me, it's Halloween and Christmas. Love Halloween, love Christmas. I pull out my spooky shit in October, and I pull out my Christmassy thing in December. And that's something that brings me joy personally, whether other people see it or not.
Yep.
So if you don't find joy in seasonal decorations, screw the seasonal decorations. If they're only going to bring you more stress,
yeah, exactly.
Don't do it.
Exactly.
I think it's because the holidays have been so
contentious.
Not contentious, but like they've become such a capitalistic, consumeristic thing.
100%.
And I am actively trying to get away from that hyper consumerism mindset.
Totally.
That when I get home, I want to be able to not look at decorations.
Yeah.
I want to not have Christmas cheer forced down my throat 24/7.
Hear the same 5 songs on a loop.
Exactly. I want a break from it. So in not decorating, I come home and I'm like a reprieve from everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like we should never feel pressured to do what society is doing just because others are really attached to it.
Yeah.
And I say that as a person that has such strong opinions about everything, but I will never force my opinions on other people.
Which is greatly appreciated.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
and how it should be.
I heard someone say, like, these kinds of things are kind of like having a penis. It's great that you have one. It's great to be proud of having one, but please do not shove it down anybody's throat.
Metaphorically or literally.
Yes.
Especially not children.
Oh my god.
That was a turn we didn't need to take.
Well,
we went there.
Implied.
So it's all
But,
but you know,
that's
like,
true.
liking Christmas has for some people, religious connotations.
Yep.
And so if you like celebrating it and decorating, absolutely go ahead and live your truth.
Yeah.
But don't get upset when people say holidays instead of Christmas.
Yeah.
Don't be upset when people don't, like, you know, are sipping their Starbucks cups from their holiday cups that have Christmas trees and gifts just because you don't celebrate it, or because you want it to be more religiously celebrated, or because you don't think it has a place in your culture, whatever. Just, you know,
if
let people enjoy things.
Yeah, if it doesn't impact you, and even if it, like, you know, like, it's not none of your business. Like, people are allowed to celebrate or not celebrate the way they want to. Mm-hmm. Just like you do. I think that's, at the end of the day, like, you know, that's how it should be.
I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna wish people a happy holidays.
Yes.
And a restful winter break. That's what I like to do personally.
That's the most important. Please, if you have the privilege to have time off during that period.
Olympically rest as much as you can.
Yes, please rest. And
also
be with loved ones.
If you're a type of person who rest is an active rest, where you like to go out and you like to go walking and doing stuff as your kind of rest, don't enforce that on people who like to be sloths. Please. let us
I am that first category.
I am that second category.
Let us be vegetables. I just want to curl in a ball under a blanket and watch Star Wars all day. That's it. That's all I want.
Oh, there's a new Star Wars out. Not movie.
No.
Show.
No. Yeah. Show,
I'm totally going to watch it.
Yeah, you should.
But yeah,
Which,
just
also,
like,
by
you
the
know.
way, I need to get your new Disney password.
Oh, yeah,
You changed
100%.
it again.
So have fun, be with your chosen family.
Yeah.
Rest.
Or your biological family.
Well, just chosen family usually includes
Yeah.
your
really?
it's chosen family. It's whoever you want it to be in your chosen family.
Okay,
I have members of my family in my chosen family.
I did not know this. I thought it was like either blood or chosen.
No,
but I like this.
Chosen means
it's a Venn diagram.
chosen.
It's
right?
a Venn diagram.
Exactly. So
spend what time you want.
not
with
everybody.
your Venn diagram.
So not everybody in my biological family is in my chosen family, but everybody in my chosen family. No, that's not true. So yeah, essentially, anyway, you get the point. So
I think we do.
All that to say, happy holidays,
yes.
and we wish you a restful winter break.
And we can't wait to see you back in January.
And comment Bilbo.
Yes,
and
don't forget about the giveaway.
Tell us what you currently have on your to-do and your to-make list. And you'll be entered to win a $50 gift card to Wabi Sabi.
And we will announce the winners when we go live in January, so you have a nice long time in which to enter.
Yeah.
Thanks again for joining us. It's been a pleasure to spend the year with you.
Yeah,
sharing.
thank you for a great 2024 so
Yeah.
far. It's almost over, but
yeah. And
11 months
And
down.
thanks for sitting there
on the
for an
podcast.
hour and 20 minutes listening to us ramble.
Don't you just love it?
You love it.
you do.
We love it. You love it.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it.
Yeah.
We're all having a good time. Happy any kind of season you're having. Bye.
Bye.